His race is just so shit. He's crashed out so many times that he's giving fucking Mazepin a run for his money. Last year, he got absolutely hammered to the ground by Alonso. I don't know about you, but some Formula 1 drivers just seem like they're just hogging the seat. They're not good, they're not talented at all. But they still have a drive in Formula 1. Now keep in mind, Formula 1 drivers are meant to be the 20 best drivers in the whole entire world. There's Hamilton, Verstappen, Alonso. They all have race seats and that's fair enough. But how the fuck did Latifi scam his way into 3 seasons in Formula 1? And Mazepin have a season and have an extension for the next season. But yeah, we all know what happened with Mazepin. So today, let's look at the main Formula 1 drivers that just really don't deserve a seat at all, and who could replace them, because there's a couple good replacements waiting in line. Anyway, if you do enjoy, let me know your thoughts on all of this down in the comments, and who do you want to see in the sport and depart from the sport? Let me know down in the comments. Also, after the subscribe and like. Don't know why you wouldn't, just go do it, please, and enjoy the video. Now this might be a surprise to some, but I've gone with Ricciardo. I think Ricciardo really either has to be booted out from the sport or just depart on his own. Now this is coming from a huge Ricciardo supporter and enjoyer. He's literally on my wall up there, and I really wanted him to join back for the 2023 season. But clearly he isn't what he used to be, or what he was in the Red Bull days.
Oh my god!
Or even the Renault days. Except for his Monza win, the McLaren days weren't good at all. And then he got, well, obviously booted out. After you're done with it. It was like half a year, and then he got back into the AlphaTauri, broke his wrist. He had one good performance in Mexico, and that was a very good performance in Mexico. And then Brazil was also good pace-wise, but he was just like a lap down because of something that happened around turn 1 first lap, which was also very unfortunate. But his pace last year seemed to be all right. Brand new car that he's just stepped into, and he was on par with Yuki, maybe a bit slower, maybe a bit faster, you know, depending on the track. But it seems like throughout the winter break, he's aged like 50 years. And he's just shit.
You're trash, kid. Get good.
Now, Bahrain wasn't horrible at all. He was like a 10th or so slower than Yuki in both quali sessions, Q1 and Q2, and then obviously they both got eliminated and then go into Q3. The race was also all right, I guess. He overtook, or well, he didn't overtake him himself. Team orders kind of came into play at the end of the race, and Ricciardo couldn't make any progress, and Yuki was left mad. Wasn't too good for the team now, was it? And then Jeddah rocks around, and could it get any better? No, it really didn't, because he was like 5/10 off of Yuki in quali in Q2, and then, you know, he didn't make it through P14, and Yuki made it through into Q3, let's go. Yeah, P9 for Yuki, 5/10 difference, like, that's a lot. And the race was a stinker as well, not just because he was slow on track, but let's not forget his whole spin. Like, that was kind of embarrassing, and Perez must have been licking his lips, knowing that Ricciardo, the person rumored to be taking a seat maybe this year, maybe mid-season, maybe next year, has just spun right in front of him. And we all know the only reason why Ricciardo's in that Alpha or RB, whatever it's called, is because he wants to get back into the Red Bull. But if he's not performing anywhere near to Yuki's standard at the moment, 5/10 off, a couple tenths off here and there every lap and in quali, it's looking very ropey. Perez also now doing an alright job. Agreed, he did an alright job at the start of the last season, but it slowly, you know, yeah, it wasn't too good after that. But if Ricciardo wants to get into the Red Bull, surely he must be performing better than Yuki by a country mile, because Yuki's not getting the seat anytime soon. And if Ricciardo's not doing better than Yuki, neither is he. Liam Lawson's also sitting in the sidelines, just waiting for something to happen in the Red Bull family, because it happens like every year. There's always some kind of shenanigans, some kind of drama, and Liam Lawson had his chance last year and did exceptionally well. And I have no doubt in my mind that he would do well this year as well, maybe even better than Ricciardo, maybe better. Next up, let's talk about Bottas and Zhou, not just one of them, not just one driver, but the entire team. Knowing that Audi is meant to arrive in 2026, or will arrive in 2026, surely they need a good driver lineup. And yes, by all of that, I'm saying that Zhou and Bottas clearly are kind of shit. Bottas is now a has-been good driver and isn't anymore, and Zhou never was. With Audi's plan of being good instantly, the second they hit Formula 1, they're not going to do that with Bottas or Zhou. They need like a Sainz or a Perez, maybe, a Verstappen, a Hamilton. But Bottas and Zhou are just not going to cut it at all. Zhou isn't the best driver, there's no secret about that. But the fact that Bottas can't be extracting any more than Zhou is saying something about Bottas as well. Yes, he might have experience to develop the car and everything, but a lot of drivers have experience. A lot. As I mentioned, Sainz would be maybe a good replacement for them, knowing that he's pretty much jobless at the end of this season.
You're fired. Goodbye.
And maybe a Perez if things don't go too well in Red Bull. Kevin Magnussen up next, and the last good performance he had was Brazil 2022 when he got that pole position and somehow managed to clinch onto points, and that's literally it. And that carried him throughout the whole of the 2023 season, and now that performance is carrying him also into 2024, but that surely won't be lasting any longer. He racked up like 20 seconds of penalties in Jeddah. Agreed, he did help Hülkenberg get a point, but his raw pace isn't that good. Last season, he was so far off Hülkenberg in quali, it was not even a joke.
There is no joke!
And in the race, my guy was falling off faster than Hamilton did at the end of the 2021 season. And now Ollie Behrman got his chance in Jeddah, and he is a very good contender to be into the Haas seat. I don't want to see any Mazepin or Schumacher junior driver or rookie drivers just being absolutely finished by Haas. It's good that Gunther Steiner has gone on that. Probably won't happen again, but I don't want to see that. Behrman is a reserve driver for Haas and a Ferrari junior driver, Ferrari reserve driver. So, you know, there's a lot of connections there. But the thing is, I saw something recently that Behrman is rumored to be a replacement for Hülkenberg at the end of this season, which is kind of a weird way to say and spell Magnussen. Why get rid of Hülkenberg when Magnussen is clearly the issue? And let's be real, this wouldn't be a good video if we didn't even talk about Logan Sargeant, because he's had a season in Formula 1, he wasn't good at all. The singular point he scored wasn't even on merit, it wasn't even his pace was good. He scored it because 2 people got disqualified in Texas, and then he got moved up from P12 into P10, and that's how he scored a point. He was out-qualified 22-0 last year, and this year hasn't out-qualified Albon yet, so it's 24-0 in all of his races. And it's not like his quali performances are just lacking, and just his race is just so shit. He's crashed out so many times that he's giving fucking Mazepin a run for his money. And with Antonelli literally knocking at their front doorstep, or he could go to Mercedes. But Antonelli's obviously a solid option, and there's so many drivers that would be a good option, good point scoring options. But instead we have Sargeant for another season. He was meant to improve this season, but he's been out in Q3 both times, whilst Albon has frauded somehow himself into Q2 in both of the races. Yeah, in both of the races. Yes, the Williams package might be shit.
Well, no fucking shit.
But Albon is clearly extracting a couple more tenths than Sargeant can or probably ever will be able to. And if he can't do any better this season, get him out. I want to see a good Williams driver who can help Williams develop the car, because that's what Williams needs. Williams back at the top. And also, speaking of Williams, Albon should be fired. He shouldn't be fired by James Vowles, but he should fire himself. Go find a team that could actually compete for good podiums, maybe wins, maybe even a championship, because there's no doubt in my mind that he will be able to cook up something special. Now, yes, this is coming from a Williams fan, but you know, I want Albon to do well. We love Albon and Williams, but I want Albon to do well, you know what I'm saying? And let's conclude all of this with, and also a pretty obvious pick, but it's someone who really has to be discussed. Lance Stroll. Most recently crashed out on his own in Jeddah, just hitting the wall and being an absolute nuisance as he always is. Hasn't had, Bahrain was good, let's be real, and the start of the season in 2022 and the end of the season was also good. And just cannot ignore mid-season last year, and just overall, he's never been, wow, Lance Stroll, is that you? He's never been that guy.
You're not that guy.
Last year, he got absolutely hammered to the ground by Alonso. How disrespectful it was. It was disgusting. This year was meant to be better, Bahrain was better, but Jeddah was just Lance Stroll at Lance Stroll's finest. It was just Lance Stroll. No, and it's not just Alonso being his teammate that has, I guess, made things worse. He wasn't the greatest when Vettel was his teammate, and Vettel was going into retirement. And the poor old guy was also not necessarily slapping up Lance Stroll, but he was comfortably beating him on a regular basis. And plus, they had a very much worse car. Now, am I deluded by saying this that Lance Stroll should be fired? His dad would never fire his son, probably. Of course, you know, Lawrence Stroll owns the team that Lance Stroll drives for, dad and son. It's never going to happen, but if it did, would Felipe Drugovich finally get his chance? Probably not. Felipe, I don't think, is ever going to get a chance in Formula 1. In 2023, the average pace per lap was 0.5 of a second. That's how much he was losing compared to Alonso. Now, Alonso is Alonso, a two-time world champion, and he's just a beast. But Lance Stroll, surely he's been in the sport for like 7 years, joined in 2017. So surely he should have picked up a thing or two. And Alonso being his teammate, it's time for Lance Stroll to either leave on his own or something to change at Aston Martin. Anyway, let me know down in the comments what you thought on all of this. And whilst you're there, subscribe and like, I don't know why you wouldn't. As I said at the start, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. Peace.